All right, the Bucks take on the Pacers, 7 o'clock Eastern tip-off on Friday, January 27th, 2023. Milwaukee's minus 8.5, totals 238 and a hook. And if you want to see which one of these free plays on my videos here today that I'm actually betting on personally, you may want to think about signing up for my full access, all-inclusive board member package on my website. Of course, that's patreon.com/Brock Page, and the link for that site is in the description section below. Board members on my website get access to every single personal bet, every single package, every single day for the next 30 days. The math works out to be just $1.66 a day. That's cheaper than a 4-piece at Royal Farms. And once again, guys, if you want to see which one of these free plays on my videos that I'm actually betting on personally, there's only one way to do that, and that's to sign up for my full access, all-inclusive board member package on patreon.com/Brock Page. And as bad as the Pacers have been, they do still play some pretty good basketball at home. These guys are 16-9 in the Gainbridge Fieldhouse. They're also covering in nearly 70% of those contests. Buddy Hield scoring over 17.5 points a night. He's also drilling 42% of his three-pointers. Meanwhile, Benny Mathurin, he's dropping 17 points a game himself. They're facing a Bucks team on the other side who really struggles offensively on the road. These guys are in the bottom three in the entire NBA in road scoring. And no real surprise here, guys. Milwaukee's got themselves the lowest offensive field goal percentage on the road in the NBA. Now, injury-wise, Ibaka and Portis are both still out for Milwaukee. Meanwhile, Giannis, Beauchamp, and Green, they're also listed as questionable. Now, for Indy on the other side, Turner, Nesmith, and Nembhard, they're all listed as day-to-day. Tice, Halliburton, and Brown are still inactive. Now, when it comes to the total, Indy saw 4 out of their last 7 get over the number. Meanwhile, Milwaukee's gone 60% to the over this year against divisional opponents. I'm going to lean toward the Pacers, plus 8.5, over 238 and a hook. Next matchup, it is going to be Grizzlies, Timberwolves, 7:30 p.m. East. Memphis is minus 3, totals 237. Now, the ice-cold Grizzlies lost their last 4 straight. They gave up 123 points a game on average during that skid. When it comes to covering the point spread, the Grizzlies failed to cover in 7 out of their last 10 outings. Now, when these guys play on the road, they're one of the worst covering teams away from home in the game. Out of 25 contests away from the Forum this year, Memphis successfully covered just 9 times. Not great. Now they're facing a Minnesota team on the other side of things who got the W in 3 out of their last 4. And they're actually winning 63% of their contests at home. And when it comes to shooting the basketball, there's really not many teams in the league who are shooting it better, at least from the field. Minnesota's in the top 5 in offensive field goal percentage. Anthony Edwards, he averages a team-high 24.5 points a game along with 6 rebounds. Meanwhile, D'Angelo Russell, he's scoring 17 points a game himself. Now, injury-wise, Rudy Gobert is questionable. Prince and McLaughlin are out. Meanwhile, for Memphis, Desmond Bane is questionable. Concher, Green, and Adams are out for them. When it comes to the total, Memphis went 60% to the over in their last 10. Meanwhile, Minnesota saw overs against the likes of Houston, Toronto, and Utah. I'm going to lean toward Minnesota plus 3, over 237. Next matchup, it is going to be Cavs Thunder, 8 o'clock Eastern start time. Oklahoma City's minus 1, totals 224. Now, OKC's played some really good basketball here recently. They're 7-3 straight up in their last 10. And for what it's worth, they covered the point spread in 90% of those contests during that span. I know it really doesn't matter here because we're basically at a pick'em, but certainly worth mentioning, at least, for down the road if you're looking to bet on OKC in a couple of days. I mean, these guys have been great against the point spread. Now, the Thunder, they're playing their best basketball this year at the Paycom Center. These guys are averaging 120 points a night in front of their own fans. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, he's dropping over 30.5 points a night. He's also making 91% of his free throws. Meanwhile, Josh Giddey, he's scoring 16 points a game himself. And when it comes to defensive play, OKC's been incredibly tough guarding the field goal. They have one of the lower defensive field goal percentages in the Western Conference. Now they're facing a Cleveland squad who plays their worst basketball on the road. They got the W in just 10 out of 25 road games. And they averaged only 109 points a night in those contests. Actually going to put them in the bottom 5 in the NBA in that particular category. Now, injury-wise, leading scorer Donovan Mitchell's questionable with a groin. Meanwhile, Kevin Love, he's also questionable with a back. Meanwhile, for Oklahoma City on the other side, Lou Dort is out for them. When it comes to the total, 4 out of OKC's last 5 did stay under the line. Meanwhile, Cleveland went 60% to the under in their last 10. I'm going to lean toward Oklahoma City -1, under 224. Next ball game, it is going to be Magic Heat, 8 o'clock East. Miami's -7.5, totals 219 and a hook. And as bad as they've been offensively, the Heat continue to grind out wins. They're 7-3 straight up in their last 10. And they're giving up fewer points per contest than any other team in the league except for one. Now, when it comes to rebounding the basketball, the Heat's grabbing more defensive boards a game than most clubs in the Eastern Conference. Bam Adebayo's grabbing double-digit rebounds a night. He's also one of the team's leading scorers with over 21.5 points a game. Meanwhile, Jimmy Butler averages 21 points a night himself, along with a couple of steals. Now, they're facing an Orlando team who struggles away from the Amway Center. Out of 23 contests away from Orlando, they got the W only 6 times. That's good for a win percentage of just .260. And when it comes to offensive production, the Magic's averaging a league-low 107 points a game on the road. Now, injury-wise, Chuma Okeke is still out for Orlando. Meanwhile, for Miami, Duncan Robinson's still inactive for them. When it comes to the total, 5 out of Miami's last 6 in South Beach fell under the number. They're also 63% to the under in all of their contests against Eastern Conference opponents. I'm going to lean toward Miami, -7.5, under 219 and a hook. And with that, guys, we're going to jump into our next and final matchup for the video. It is going to be Raptors at the Warriors, 10 o'clock Eastern tip-off. Golden State's -5, totals 236. Now, the Warriors are definitely tough to beat in the Chase Center. They're 18-6 in their own arena, and they're leading the NBA in guarding the three-pointer at home. The Warriors are limiting their competition to a league-low 31% shooting from three-land in their own building. And no real surprise here, the Warriors are also in the top 3 in defending the field goal on their own court as well. Steph Curry grabs over 5.5 defensive boards a game, and of course, he's the team's leading scorer with 29 points a night. Now, Steph, great at three-point shooting, spit it out, 42% shooting from beyond the arc. And Jordan Poole, he's scoring 21 points a game himself. Now, Golden State's facing a Toronto team who plays some really bad basketball on the road. They're just 7-15 straight up while traveling, and they've had all kinds of issues on offense. Toronto's arguably the worst shooting team in the Eastern Conference. These guys are in the bottom 3 in the NBA in shooting the 3-ball. They're also in the bottom 3 in shooting from the field as well. No real surprise there. Now, injury-wise, Delano Banton is questionable. Otto Porter is still inactive. Meanwhile, for Golden State, Iggy's out. Wiggins is questionable. When it comes to the total, Golden State 63% to the under in their own arena. Meanwhile, Toronto saw unders against the likes of Sacramento, Boston, and Atlanta. I'm going to lean toward Golden State -5, under 236. And with that, guys, we're going to jump into our quick pick recap. I'm going to lean toward the Pacers +8.5, over 238 and a hook. Minnesota +3, over 237. Oklahoma City -1, under 224. Miami Heat -7.5, under 219 and a hook. With my next and final free pick, I'm going to lean toward Golden State -5, under 236. And with that, guys, that's going to do it for me. Don't forget to check me out on my website. Of course, guys, once again, if you do end up signing up for a membership on my site, you're going to get access to that membership for the next 30 days. And of course, as an added bonus, you're also going to get access to all of my cheaper memberships absolutely free. They're going to be included with your purchase. But most importantly, guys, got to thank you for joining me right here on YouTube. Really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. And with that said, guys, happy Friday to you. Best of luck to you. And I look forward to seeing you later on today on my website at patreon.com/BrockPage.